they can assume forms, including spacemen or solid objects like flying saucers or so on. That's why when they appear on the radar scope and a jet gets up there, they vanish right in front of the palace eye, because they're nothing but a spirit. They can assume forms, including spacemen or solid objects like flying saucers or so on. That's why when they appear on the radar scope and a jet gets up there, they vanish right in front of the palace eye, because they're nothing but a spirit.
But again, Genesis 3, the Bible, the Judeo-Christian manifesto, talks about the utter wrath, the utter ire of the Atlanteans and their progeny towards the females. This was a crime that they had committed 30, 50,000 years ago that would never be forgotten. Genesis says, "Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly thou wilt go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life." I mean, clearly anybody with 2 brain cells can see that merely eating an apple off of a tree could hardly merit this kind of wrath. We have a very imbalanced story here. I mean, the whole story of Eve creating the fall is so ludicrous as to not even want to be mentioned. Why would the Lord God not respond with compassion or love or forgiveness?
And just in case anyone says, well, maybe he is thinking that the serpent represents the female, a theme he tries to present just before this. But this would contradict his own theory, which is that the serpent represents the Lemurians, and the Lemurians were offering Eve the apple, or trying to get Eve to come with them to their planet to be rejuvenated and re-educated. You just can't have it both ways. And furthermore, right after God condemns the serpent, if God were really talking to women there, why does he then turn to Eve and talk to her about it? Are we to believe that the true symbolism of the Bible is that the serpent and Eve represent Eve? As I said, it's not even consistent with his own version of the story. It can only be chalked up in my mind to a man deliberately taking the Bible out of context for some agenda. That agenda so far seems to be focused on getting people to dislike God and the Bible.
Of the Lord, and by his fierce anger. So there, Blavatsky, one of the greatest scholars the world has ever known, writes in this way. She says, "The appellation Satan in Hebrew belongs by right to the first and cruelest adversary of all other gods, Jehovah, not in the serpent which spoke only words of sympathy and wisdom."
Now, even if we accept any variation of Lucifer symbolism, in this quote, it's clear that Sarin agrees with Blavatsky, the greatest scholar the world has ever known, that what we call God should be called Satan, and the serpent,
strong as it is, probably all my work, any of the DVDs, anything that people can focus on that I've produced and created, I always think of Jordan as being, absolutely fundamental, his message, because you see...
Gentlemen, have you ever heard or read Mrs. Blavatsky? She's...
Helena Petrovna Blavatsky?
Right.
Yes, I have all of her works.
You have?
Yes.
Well, that's why... Yes.
I think her best work was Isis Unveiled, Part 2, which is theology.
Right.
And that was an exceptional work. I think that Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, the Russian mystic, was a very wise and perceptive lady, and she had some very profound knowledge, obviously, and her academic achievements were extraordinary, and so I have a very high respect for her.